All right, let's take a look at number 1 here on this word problem. Again, we're dealing with unit rates in the sense that we want to use this information to find out how many people can go on the Ferris wheel in a certain amount of time. So here's what the data they give us. The Ferris wheel can accommodate 35 people in 15 minutes. How many people could ride on the Ferris wheel in 2 hours, and what was the rate per hour? Okay, so here's the information they give us so far. 35 people in 15 minutes. So remember, we can usually set this up as a fraction. And the time they give us, time will more than likely and usually always goes in the denominator. So 35 people per 15 minutes. Okay, and usually when we talk about unit rates, we want the denominator to be 1. So let's go ahead and calculate 3.5 people over 15 minutes. If we actually type that in, we're going to get 2.33 people per 1 minute. Now, I don't know about what world you live in, but usually we can't slice people up to fit time. So we're dealing with a Ferris wheel and people, so it'd be weird to show a unit rate in minutes because it's a decimal, 2.33 people. So typically, when we're dealing with data, we want it to be nice whole numbers, okay? Now, with dollars, it's different because $1.50, that's something that can actually happen in real life. But I can't have 2.33 people. In theory, I can, but in real life, we want something nice. So let's go ahead and think about another time that uses, that could be in the denominator. So we have minutes, we have seconds, but another thing we can use is hours, okay? Because our ultimate question says, how many people can ride the Ferris wheel in 2 hours? So let's think about this first. So rather than thinking about it in minutes, let's make our unit rate an hour. And how many minutes are in an hour? Well, there's 60 minutes in 1 hour. Okay, so let's start there. So how do I make 15 minutes into 60 minutes? Well, I multiply both top and bottom by 4. And 4 times 15 is 60. 4 times 35 is going to give me 140 people per 60 minutes. But we could change 60 minutes into 140 people per 1 hour. So it is a unit rate now because look at my denominator. It's 1. But rather than using minutes, we used hours. So that's something that's tricky. That's something that's difficult to see. But remember, with time, we can do that. We could technically do it with dollars by changing it to cents, but dollars is okay as a decimal. Miles, it's okay to have as a decimal. Gallons, it's okay to keep as a decimal. Or parts of it, like if I had like 2.37 of a candy bar, that really wouldn't work. So it would have to be, we want the unit rate to be nice. So 140 people per hour is much nicer than 2.33 people per minute. So now that we have a nice unit rate, let's look at the question. How many people can ride the Ferris wheel in 2 hours? So we need to set this fraction equal to 2. So how do I do that? Well, how do I make the 1 hour into 2 hours? Multiply it by 2. Then whatever I do to the bottom, got to do to the top. So 2 times 140 is going to give me 280 people for 2 hours. So to answer the question, there's 280 people that can ride the Ferris wheel in 2 hours. And what was the rate per hour? So we can look at that and say, well, it's the unit rate that we found, 140 people per 1 hour.